Hello, everyone. This is Kyla from Hidden Gems Literary Emporium, your family-owned nonprofit community bookstore. And today we have a very special guest, Miss Erinma Uche, who is the author of this book right here, Earth to Adanna. And also, there's an Adanna series, and we're going to get into that. Thank you so much for your time today. Can you please start by introducing yourself and tell us a little bit about the inspiration behind this book, Earth to Adanna?
Hi, everyone. My name is Erinma Uche, and the inspiration behind my book is basically I wanted to, find a way to leave my legacy behind. And I wanted to do something nice for kids. And as a kid, I was always very curious. I always wanted to, learn different things that kind of weren't in the regular school pre-planned curriculum. So I would find myself, reading books and watching little TV shows and videos about topics that, I kind of wanted to explore. So I wanted to give children the opportunity to, continue their learning and continue their improvement through something fun like a children's book. So Earth to Adanna, which I have here with me, it is an exploration of astrology, constellations, the moon, the stars, the elements, all in a fun book for kids. So that was kind of what I felt like I wanted to do. And yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, this is going to be a series. This is the first. I'm thinking about doing 3 books in the series in total, and I'm currently working on the second one. So each book will explore, a different topic, but it's always going to be based on the core principle, which is continuous learning and improvement.
I love that theme, the theme of continuous learning and improvement. And, you're never too young or too old to learn something. And so this book is a great book for not only for children, but for parents as well. It's, sometimes there are books where it's just for children, where it's like A, B, C. And those books are great. Don't get me wrong. We have a lot of those books, and Truth reads those books as well. But one of the things that I love about this book is that it's a story that engages the child and the parent at the same time. And you can witness the character development of Adanna. And so let's start with her. How did you come up with the main character? How did you come up with the name? Let's talk about that.
So basically, Adanna is a personification of like me as a kid. Basically, I don't know, like I was my own inspiration behind her character. Like I said, as a child, I was very curious. I was very interested in like a lot of different things. And I think that's just a me thing. I don't know. I'm a Gemini, so I kind of feel like I dibble dabble in a lot of different areas. So I kind of just, wanted to have a character that kind of described how I was growing up. So, like I said, she's a very intelligent little girl, very curious, always pondering new things, new ideas, constantly asking questions. So, that was kind of my inspiration behind her. And the name Adanna is a beautiful, beautiful name from my tribe. It is just a name that I've always admired growing up. So, that's why I picked that for her.
And what is your tribe?
So I'm Nigerian and I'm Igbo, which I don't know if there's there's a whole bunch of Nigerians like in New Jersey. I'm personally from Maplewood. There's a lot of us here, so I'm sure there are people watching who are going to know exactly where my name comes from, and it's probably very familiar for them.
And can you please tell us what your name means?
Yes, so Erinma means beautiful girl.
Yes, and it's so funny because you are such a beautiful young lady, and Adanna is such a beautiful girl. And one of the things that immediately you notice from the cover, and it's illustrated this way throughout the book, She has stars in her eyes. And I think that's
Yeah.
so beautiful and cute. Let's talk a little bit about your decision to do that and, you know, the process with the illustrations, because they're really, really cute.
They are, aren't they? So
Yes, ma'am.
this is a perfect time to shout out a friend of mine. Her name is Renee Rickman. She was the illustrator of my book. So me and Renee met in college. We were actually roommates for our first year of school, and she is so sweet. She's so awesome. And she has, her own unique story. She was always into artistic things and drawing and everything, and she actually majored in graphic design. So when I was looking for an illustrator for the book, she just kind of popped into my head one day, and I'm like, I haven't spoke to her in a while. Let me just message her. Let me see what she's up to and if she's interested. And she had done artwork for me in the past when I had little things on campus that I would do and I needed a flyer design. She was always my go-to person. So I really do think she hit the nail on the head with these illustrations. She actually did above and beyond what I envisioned. And, I kind of just told her, like, Renee, my only requirements, I let her take, most of the creative control. And I told her my only requirements is that I want a bright, bold, and colorful book. I was like, I want something. I know they say don't judge a book by its cover, but I want kids to see this book and be like, oh my God, what's that? I wanted something to really draw, parents as well as children in. And yes, she's very attentive to detail. So I'm glad you made the comment about Adanna having stars in her eyes. You'll see that throughout the pages of the book. She always has stars in her eyes. And I feel like that's a great embodiment of what the picture we're trying to convey through the story. I felt like it was very beautiful. So shout out to Renee, because you did an amazing job. And I just love it so much.
She did do an amazing job. And I love the stars in the eyes because it symbolizes the imagination that Adanna has, and the questioning, the inquiry, and Adanna's ability to see further and past what other children are seeing. And so I just thought that was really, really cute. I think the cover is so beautiful and amazing. I could totally see this concept, even just looking at the cover, but from reading the book, this concept as maybe a short television series, or something like that, because it's really, really, it's really, really beautiful. And I think you and your illustrator really did do an amazing job. And it talks about normal things that children go through also when they're going to school. Adanna, she was a little nervous before she got to school, and then maybe everybody wasn't as welcoming, and those are things that children go through all the time. But then it also has things where you can really learn from. So I just flipped open to this page where it says, what is an element? Adanna asks. I'm happy you asked. An element is a pure substance found on Earth, like hydrogen, that is in the water we drink, or the shiny, sparkly gold we wear as jewelry. Miss Erinma explains. And so, there's concepts in the book that provoke the reader to ask questions. And so I really like that.
Yeah, so my kind of idea, sometimes children will read my book and they'll say that it's hard. And, I kind of try and get them out of saying something's hard. And I'll be like, this book isn't necessarily hard, it's challenging. But that is kind of the purpose and the point of what I'm doing. I don't want to make this an easy read or, something that kids can just pick up and put down and kind of forget about it. I kind of wanted, my series to invoke that curiosity. And I wanted to introduce topics that they haven't heard of before. And sometimes even adults will read the book and they'll be like, oh, I never knew that, or I learned something new. So I feel like it's a great, read for parents and children. I also feel like, this is kind of like a first day of school preparation book. At least that's what I call it myself, because, it is Adanna's first day of school. So I feel like this is something cute that parents could read to their children in preparation for the, first day blues and being, a little bit shy and a little bit nervous about starting a new school. Maybe, parents have relocated, or, a kid is starting a new grade. So that was my inspiration behind that.
I love the fact that you said that you discourage children from using the word hard, and instead using the word challenging, because a challenge is something that you can get over and you can triumph over. Challenges make you stronger and they make you wiser. And Ray and I, even for our own child, before the bookstore even happened, we would always look for challenging children's books. So he has a few books that are A is for Apple, B is for this, C is for that. But you'll find that when you present your child with more challenging children's books, their vocabulary, everything is enhanced at a miraculous rate. And so you'd be surprised to hear a 1 or 2-year-old saying hydrogen, or space, or something like that. You'd be surprised. But what happens when you're reading a book like this to them on a regular basis, or even once? It really only takes children 1 or 2 times to hear a word and repeat it. And so I really like this. And another thing I like about this book is because it's a bookmarker book, meaning that even though it's a children's book, you can't get through it in 5 minutes, especially because it is so colorful. You as the parent and the child want to take in the illustrations, and every page provokes a question. So I just opened just now. What's a star? Elijah asked. I'm glad you asked, Elijah. A star is a giant sphere of super hot gas. It's one of the big, bright twinkles you see when you look in the sky at night before you go to bed. What makes a star so hot? Edward asked. So these are all thought-provoking questions and statements that will draw your child into deeper conversations. And, even just from what I just read, a child could ask, what is a sphere? Oh, I'm glad you asked. And, you go into that. Or, you talk about stars. Another question a child might ask, how many stars are in the sky? Or, they'll start asking these questions about these different concepts. And so, girl, you put fusion on the chalkboard. There's a chalkboard that says fusion on it. That's a whole chemical theme or subject. But you know what is cool about that? There are science projects that you could do at home to explore all of these themes that you present in this book. So fusion, that's something that you can, there's at-home science projects for children. And I love how you also highlight some of the keywords that you thought were important. So constellation, vegetation. This is beautiful. We're gonna have to buy one for Truthy Boo.
There's a lot of the bigger, more difficult vocabulary is highlighted. And in the back of the book, I have a vocabulary list.
Yes.
If children have questions on some of the words, the parents can kind of go through the vocab list with them and explain to them what they mean, maybe provide little examples.
Right.
And then I have engagement activities. So I feel like, after reading a book of this nature, with your kid is going to be curious. They're going to have questions. So there's little activities built in the book that parents and children can do together to kind of like review the lesson that was learned in the story.
Right. And I just want to also, because the summaries are so important. The first thing, when you see a book, the first thing that grabs you is the title. And not just your book, but any book at all. If you're just browsing for books, you see the title, then you look at the cover, and then you automatically turn around and look at the summary. And even at the bookstore, when people come in and they're like, I don't know what I'm looking for, I have no idea what I want, we say, just grab something that is just calling your attention, read the summary, and then flip it open to a random page. So I'm going to do that now. So the summary reads, Adanna is a confident, curious, and spirited little girl. She loves exploring her community and learning new things. By reading Adanna's adventures, children will learn to develop a sense of exploration and discovery while sparking curiosity and creativity. In this book, children will learn new vocabulary words, learn new vocabulary using words and pictures, stimulate their senses, learn about their environment, celebrate learning and continuous improvement. I love celebrate learning and continuous improvement. So let's flip open to a page. Okay. I'm on this page. Let's show the illustration. So Adanna's looking out of a window and okay, it says, when it is dark, Adanna rushes to her bedroom window right before bed. She is excited to see what the night sky had in store for her. She looks outside her night window into a dark void. Nothing is in the sky but the moon. And she knows that the plain old moon will not be fun news to share with her classmates. She waits a few minutes more, but sees nothing but a few twinkles here and there. Adanna searches the sky high and low for anything she could see. Just as she is about to give up, something catches the corner of her eye. It was the biggest and brightest twinkle she had ever seen, and it was moving fast. You better go ahead, Adanna. This book will probably encourage a lot of children to ask for a telescope.
Yeah. And it'll encourage stargazing. And I feel like, this is just something that kids nowadays don't do as often as we did when we were kids. How often do you see kids looking outside their window, their bedroom window at night? You don't. It's a lot of like iPad kids and all that other stuff going on. But that page that you just read is my favorite page because that just shows the excitement of what she learned at school with her and her classmates. And she's rushing home so she can, try and experience it on her own. And that's kind of like the whole point and the whole purpose. It's to invoke children wanting to experience things on their own for themselves for the first time, trying new things, and, dibbling and dabbling in things that's unfamiliar to them.
Now, isn't that funny that I opened up to your favorite page? Mm-hmm. Anybody who's going to be watching this video, we did not plan that or know that. And anybody who follows us on social media knows that we randomly open up 2 pages all the time because, and we tell our customers to do that too, because, if the book is for you, when you open it up to whatever page, you'll get a message that, you need. There's a hidden gem in every book. And so I'm so glad that happened. So let's talk about what's next for Adanna, I'll say.
So currently I am working on book 2. It's already written, but I have a habit of like going back and revising as most authors do. I know if anyone watching this that has written their own work, you're going to be, constantly going back, taking things out, substituting things. The next book in the series will be titled Adanna Eats. It's a cultural exploration through food. So I myself personally, I love to cook, I love to bake, I love to try foods from other cultures. So I kind of wanted to give kids that same type of experience. I wanted kids to be curious and learn about where other people are from, countries of origin, what they eat, what their cultural practices are. So I felt like what better way to do that than to do a little cookbook story. Also, I feel like that would be a good way for parents to engage their kids in like sensory type of stimulation. So parents can cook with their kids, explain the ingredients, the cooking process. It's a great way to reinforce even patience between parents and children. And I just feel like, that would be a cool thing. So that's what I'm currently working on. Thank you for asking.
No problem. And I love that idea, especially because, you know, you hear a lot, oh, my child is a picky eater. He
Yeah,
only eats, or she only eats this, that, and the third, blah, 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 blah. But, you know, even with our son, we always exposed him to a lot of different foods at a very young age, fruits, vegetables. And so there's nothing, well, we're vegetarians. So, but besides meat, there's nothing else that he will not eat, or at least try, or be open-minded to trying. And, you know, that's the point. It sounds like through your book, is to encourage children to be open-minded with trying different foods, even if you've never tried it before. I think that's lovely.
yeah.
And there could be a whole additional, well, I don't know what your plans are for the book, and I don't think you should tell me on this public platform, but that could also lead to, you know, recipes, and like you said, encouraging parents and children to cook together. I love that we're cooking right now. That was the microwave. I love that you mentioned patience,
Yes.
because cooking and baking, you need patience. There is no, I want it now, so I'm going to eat it now. That's not how cooking works. And so, you know, parents and children both need patience, separately and together. And
Right.
so that's a great value that you spoke about, that I just wanted to mention again. So thank you for that. Thank you for all the literary work that you do for our children. If anybody has a question about this book, or maybe wants to contact you, what's the best way for people to do that?
So the best way for people to keep up with me and my book and updates about like new releases is via Instagram. So you can follow the book page at Adanna Series. I also have a Facebook page that's titled the same thing, at Adanna Series. If anybody wants to reach out to me personally, maybe for work, interviews, book promotions, anything like that, the best way to contact me is via email. My email is my first and last name, Erinma Uche. The spelling is on the book. The number 1 at gmail.com. So Erinma Uche 1 at gmail.com.
Okay. And the Instagram is at Adanna Series.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to thank you so much for your time today. And I want to encourage everyone, please, while we still have them, girl, because these are super cute, to come by Hidden Gems Literary Emporium. We're here at 55B Moore Street in New Brunswick, New Jersey, and pick up your copy of Earth to Adanna, or give us a call at 609-361-4331. We would be more than happy to ship this book to your home. So we do 1,000 free book tours across the country. Our next one is July. And we're looking for sponsors to purchase X amount of books from our independent authors so that we can give them away for free. And so Earth to Adanna is definitely on our list of must-have books to include in this book tour. It really is so cute. I love that it's hardcover, especially parents with young children are going to love that it's hardcover, because, you know, at young ages, we're still, the word of the day when reading books when children are young is gentle, be careful. So this is more durable for our parents with young children. So we really appreciate that. Thank you so much for your time today and for making this beautiful book. We will be talking to you again very, very soon.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your time. And
No
everyone,
problem.
make sure you guys stop by and support. There's plenty
Yes.
of other authors, not just myself. There's plenty of other children's books there, independent authors from all over the world. So thank you guys so much.
I love that you said that. You are for the people. And you know what? It takes a village, not just to raise a child, but to raise up any effort, especially when we're doing things for the children. You know, we all have to stick together. And I know it sounds cliche, but it's the truth.
Yeah,
Right,
I
Truth?
completely agree.
Yes. Thank you again.
Thank you so much.
Talk to you soon.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.